Thanks, Moody. If everybody can see my screen, that is awesome. I'm just going to pop up my mobile device. So this is a great example of, what we can do with a panic button is, we need to protect our users out in the field. And when they trigger a panic button, we should have an action and somebody go and make sure that they're safe and secured, right? We want to protect our most important asset to me is the security company's employees are actually doing the job out in the field. So if you can see my screen, I'm just going to pop open my mobile device here. And on this side, I've got the command center open. So I'm just going to make a little change here. I'm just going to put my date range to today's date, just to grab my filters here. And on this side, I'm going to trigger a panic alert. So we'll see that the panic alert is going to be triggered. Perfect. I'm not going to rely on this. And I'm going to see that I have a new record come in for my panic alert. So directly right here, I can have the panic alert. It shows visibly for the user. I know that there was a comment in the polling that said something about to do with assigning tickets. So this allows a user to take a ticket. Now, what I've done here is if you have multiple people working in the same operation center, which is really just a combination of regions, you can be sure that somebody is actually actively looking at this alert here. And we actively look at this alert here, we have the ability to dispatch out to a user the last known coordinates of that employee. So again, we get a triggered panic button alert. I can action off very quickly. And also, if you notice on my screen, I'm not losing any of the information as far as my dispatching goes at the same time. It just opens up a side panel. So again, I'm not moving any focus from your operator's day-to-day job. It's all nicely focused into one area. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. And so now we're going to take a look at some of the other scenarios that will definitely make it easier for you to understand some of the capabilities we have around the alarms. So as part of our commitment to future-proof and use the Internet of Things, some of our advancements are to ensure that TrackTik can be AI first when it comes to how we can trigger any alarms or predictive remote guarding. So let's look at an alarm trigger by a camera system that's created with our dispatch requests based on image recognition.
Excellent. Okay, I'm just going to pop over my screen one more time for you guys. Give me 1 second here. There we go. All right. So I'm going to get a colleague actually to trigger an API call right now as a camera would recognize it. So this is all available with the integrations, but if we detect something that's going on in the field, we want to be able to send information to our system, grab that, and then dispatch out the proper user. So I'm going to go ahead and get my colleague to submit this. And you can see on the side here, when the dispatch is submitted, I haven't done anything yet as far as like a person as an operator. You can hear on my mobile device that I did receive the dispatch. Now, if you look at the screen here, what you're going to notice is I haven't done anything. I have a new dispatch that came through, and you notice it's already assigned to a user. This Moody, and everybody here is on the call, this is actually leveraging our smart auto assign technology. So smart auto assign is based on a bunch of rules that you can set up, and it just identifies who you should dispatch out to the user to. And there's some, rules that you can put in place to dispatch out this user if they have the proper asset to get this job, etc. So it really brings everything, and now you don't need a body to actually manually assign the dispatch. It just goes seamlessly to the user. Now, using smart auto assign also, if the user wanted to reject the task, it would kick back to the dashboard and then go through the rules again and assign it to somebody as well. It also can be leveraged for vendors at the same time.
Thanks, Sean. That sounds like some really cool stuff that we're doing. So,
well, getting some movie.
Getting back to safety, one of the last parts of our incredible new platform for Command Center is around how we can maintain a level of assurance when it comes to the safety of the officers in the field when they're working on their own, and there are some scheduled check calls that are needed. We have many notifications for many things that are delivered by text and email. Check calls when officers are working late are important because we have to identify where an officer works for that shift and needs to be monitored. So Sean, let's show how we manage this missed check calls from an officer in the field.
Yep, not a problem. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to close this here. And okay, so we have lone worker checks, and lone worker check basically tells us to the system, it says, hey, I want to check on Moody, is the employee on the field, and I want to check on you every 15 minutes. And he goes through his check, and if he misses his check, we can actually have here, I'm just going to open up my filters to week. We get what we call as a late 1010. And a late 1010 is going to allow you to know the user that missed the check call. It's going to generate an exception. And again, you can have the ability to take the ticket. As far as the user goes, it all depends on lone workers and what area I'm in, right? So because I'm checking on Moody every 15 minutes, Moody might be dispatched out to a site that I feel, or in a run sheet that I feel that it might be a little bit more dangerous in certain areas. So I can actually override his late checking calls for the instance that he's at that specific site and change the frequency. Every 15 minutes, I'm going to bug Moody every 5 minutes. Now, that's great that we can do it all through the system, but if you ever have a scenario where you have to do anything with a lone worker and you want to override it as far as an operator goes, Moody calls me and says, listen, I feel really dangerous here. Can you check on me every 5 minutes, please? Not a problem. I can check on the lone worker. I can see the request that the lone worker has done. And if I click on the lone worker, I've got this little tab here that I can set lone worker frequency. And what this does, it just allows me to go directly here and change his lone worker frequency from the system. Moody's going to get the update on his device instead of checking in on every 15 minutes, can ask every 5 minutes. Once he's done his activities or the job that he's all completed, he goes back to his initial spot, which probably would be the zone. His lone worker frequency is then going to default back to what we currently have. So again, this is all to make sure the employee is safe. You can designate certain areas and sites as being a little bit more dangerous and have a better frequency. Or if the user that's in the field that really feels in a little bit of danger can call your operator and they can make the call to change the frequency of the lone worker.